Hello, this is another update from the Walkers.
Hey guys.
And this time we have someone with us. She's also a walker. This is Hailey Walker, our daughter. She's 23, and we have the privilege of having her come back to Zambia and intern with Abbas Heart for a few months. And she's getting ready to head back to the States. And before she leaves, we just thought we would ask her a few questions about her experience here. So the first question we wanted to ask you, Hailey, is what made you decide to come back to Zambia and do this internship with Abbas Heart?
So it was first brought up in around November, not last year, but the year before. And Mom just kind of told me that there was an opportunity to be able to help out with the ministry because there were a lot of needs, and she just presented it to me and asked if I would pray about it and see if it was something that I would consider. So I prayed about it for a while, and at that point I had been working 2 jobs and was just kind of waiting for what was next. And so this opportunity came up, and after praying about it, I was like, well, why would I not take this opportunity? Because I've been waiting for an opportunity to help out with a need. So that came up, and then I was like, well, I guess this is something I should do. And so I took the steps to come out here, and here I am.
So Hailey, you said needs, so just give everybody an idea of what some of the assignments were that you had.
So my main priority was the outreach team. And so with the outreach team, I was working at the learning center where we basically just tutored the boys and just built relationships with them there. And so I did that most of the week, and then I was working with the girls, the street girls as well. And so every Wednesday we would take the girls and just spend time with them, take them out of town and get them away from that environment and build relationships with them there. And we did some schooling, we did devotional time, we did a snack, and yeah, so I did that. And then one other day of the week I would help out in the office and do financial work and just keep up with the receipt logs and all of that.
So of all those, excuse me, all those assignments, you just made everything seem so natural and easy, but I know that some of it had to be challenging, right? So maybe give everybody an idea of what maybe the most challenging thing, what was that?
That one is hard, but because there wasn't a whole lot that was challenging. But I think keeping up with keeping track of all the financial, where everything's supposed to go, that was kind of challenging for me.
That's challenging for me.
So shout out to Amy Zimba. That is not really my gifting, but she does amazing.
Yeah. What about working with the street girls in town? Did you have any challenges with like behavior and mindsets and just working with them in general?
I mean, yeah, that's challenging because they are a lot more difficult to work with than the boys because there's a lot more drama, and it's like we usually just had about 5 to 7 girls most of the time, and it was the same amount of energy that we had to put into it as working with like 15 boys. So it was like it was a lot to have to manage, but I loved being able to be a part of it.
Okay, awesome. And while you were here, we did an intake with a couple girls.
Yeah.
And so now you've gotten to see them on the streets, transition into residential care and living in a home where have you seen progress since that transition time?
Oh yeah.
So they've been in for almost 4 months, right? That they've been in the home. What's the difference that you've seen in the girls?
Like every area. It's a huge difference, and those girls too, they're really young, so just seeing them be able to mature, and even I think the biggest thing is like seeing them realize how different they are too, because they look back and they're like, wow, like they compare their lives now and how they've grown to how they were in town, and that's really cool too.
So let me just interrupt. I'll just give you a quick example. When Hailey says the girls are more difficult, just the other day we brought in a pregnant girl, and she was saying how grateful she was, and thank you, I'll be here the whole time until the baby's born. And 2 hours later, she was saying, I want to go back to town. I feel like I've been forced to come here. And none of that stuff was true, but it's just their mindset. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it is a challenge. Well, what's been the most rewarding thing for you since you've been here at Abbas?
Probably just being able to work with the Abbas team and just to see how they interact with one another, and just to learn from them, from their teamwork and their ministry. So I think I was definitely taking notes for if I'm ever in ministry, what that should look like and how people just interact with one another and work together as a team. That was super cool to be able to be a part of.
Yeah, and you said to me the other day that it's cool to watch how some of them don't even see it as a job. It's just like when there's extra things to do, they just jump in and want to do it because it's something that they love to do. So that's very cool.
Yeah, it was just really cool to witness how the staff love the kids and how they just jump in it whenever there's a need. They jump in and they just go after it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
So, Hailey, we certainly have benefited from you being here. I mean, it's just been a huge blessing, but I hope it's a win-win. So have you benefited, or have you seen some growth in your own life because of this? I mean, I hope that's the case.
Yeah, definitely. I think,
especially maybe spiritually.
Yeah, for one thing, just being reminded that I need to put my desires behind me and put God's first, and really seek Him and figure out not even necessarily figuring out what His desires are for me, but just making sure that is my priority and not getting distracted by what my desires are, but always seeking Him. And I might not have a clear direction for what's next or what's to come, but just being reminded that just to take the next step of faith, it's not necessarily about seeing what's going to happen down the road, but just taking that next step of faith has been something that I've really been working on.
Well, it's going to be a challenge your whole life. I mean, I'm so easily distracted, and I start going my own way all the time. So that's going to be a challenge. If you're like your daddy, it'll be a challenge for your whole life.
Probably.
Well, so you're getting ready to go back to the States in a few days. What's next for you?
So,
good question.
I don't like that question because
you
I
get
don't
asked
know.
that a lot, right?
Yeah, and everyone asks it. But I'm really just going back to the States. I'm planning on moving to Florida, living with Shad and Gina, and hoping to get a job in that area. I love working with children, so I hope I can find a job that works with kids in some aspect. I don't really know what specifically. But long term, I would like to do some sort of missions. I really don't know what that would look like. But like I said before, I love working with children, so hopefully something in that department.
Well, we're all going to miss you. You've been a huge blessing to have around, not only in ministry, but obviously in the home with your siblings, and the way you've connected in the community has been such a blessing just to watch. So we're going to miss you, and thanks for serving with Abbas.
Yeah, we love you, baby.
Well, thank you guys for letting me be here.
You're welcome.